The Galactic Assembly celebrated the death of humanity, not publicly. Of course, officially, it was a tragedy. A young civilization lost to the dangers of deep space. A Paisley, promising species erased by circumstances beyond anyone's control. That was the story recorded in history. But behind closed doors, many of the galaxy's most powerful leaders felt something closer to relief. Humans had always been different. They asked too many questions, built too quickly, adapted too fast, and worst of all, they made friends everywhere. In only 20 years of interstellar contact, humanity had established relationships with more independent civilizations than species that had existed for centuries. The old powers found this unsettling, because influence was supposed to take generations. Humans achieved it in years. Then came the Soul Rift incident, a catastrophic collapse of the primary hyperspace corridor connecting human territory to the rest of known space. Thousands of ships disappeared. Communication networks failed. Navigation routes became unusable. Within days, every human colony vanished from galactic contact. Rescue attempts failed. Exploration fleets never returned. The region became known as the Black Void, a place where sensors malfunctioned and ships disappeared without explanation. After 5 years without a single transmission, humanity was officially declared extinct. The assembly held a memorial. Speeches were made. Flags were lowered. Records were archived. And eventually, everyone moved on. Or at least they thought they had. 20 years later, Commander Varric of the Tarsian Survey Corps was bored. Dangerously bored. His ship, the Horizon Watcher, had spent 8 months mapping dead systems near the outer edge of known space. Nothing interesting ever happened there. No new species. No ancient ruins. No mysterious discoveries. Just stars. Endless stars. Varric sat in the command chair reviewing sensor logs when an alarm suddenly echoed through the bridge, a sharp metallic tone. Every officer looked up instantly. The communications officer frowned. "Commander, what is it?" "We've received a transmission." Varric sighed. "Probably a navigation beacon." The officer swallowed. "No, sir." His voice sounded strange, nervous. "It's coming from inside the Black Void." The bridge became silent. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. For 20 years no signal had ever emerged from that region. Not one. Varric stood. "Play it." The officer obeyed. Static filled the bridge. A burst of interference followed. Then a calm human voice spoke. 6 words. "We never disappeared. We evolved." Silence. Absolute silence. Several officers stared at each other. Others looked pale. One technician actually dropped his data tablet. Varric replayed the message 3 times. The voice sounded perfectly clear. Confident. Almost amused. As if the speaker knew exactly what effect those words would have. Trace the source. Minutes passed. The sensor teams worked frantically. Finally the results appeared. The transmission originated nearly 3,000 light years beyond the Black Void. Impossible. Nothing existed beyond the void. Every map ended there. Every exploration mission failed long before reaching those coordinates. Yet the signal was real. Varric immediately ordered an emergency report to the Galactic Assembly. The response arrived less than 20 minutes later. Every senior representative demanded verification. Every intelligence agency became involved. Every military Command began monitoring the situation, because if humanity was alive, everything everyone believed about the black void was wrong. Within 48 hours, the assembly convened an emergency session. Representatives from hundreds of species filled the massive chamber. News networks across the galaxy broadcast the meeting live. The atmosphere was tense, fearful, excited. No one knew what to expect. High Chancellor Miras stood before the chamber. The transmission has been authenticated. Murmurs spread immediately. The voice is human. More whispers. The source remains active. Now the room exploded into conversation. Several representatives began speaking simultaneously. Others demanded explanations. Some looked genuinely terrified. Miras raised a hand. Silence returned. We will dispatch an exploration fleet. The decision passed unanimously. For the first time in 20 years, ships would enter the black void. The fleet consisted of 50 vessels. Scientists, military escorts, survey, teams, diplomats, the best the galaxy had to offer. Commander Varric was placed in charge. 3 weeks later, the fleet crossed the boundary. Immediately, strange things happened. Sensors reported impossible readings. Stars appeared where maps showed empty space. Gravity fluctuations distorted. Navigation systems. Time itself seemed inconsistent. Some ships reported losing minutes. Others gained hours. Yet, unlike previous expeditions, nobody disappeared. It was as if the void allowed them passage. After 7 days, they reached the far side. And everything changed. The fleet emerged into a region no galactic map had ever recorded. Thousands of stars filled the darkness. Entire clusters of unexplored systems stretched across the horizon, but that wasn't what stunned them. The thing that stole everyone's breath was the structure. At first, it looked like a moon. Then the sensors updated. Not a moon, an artificial object. Over 2,000 kilometers wide. Floating between stars, covered in lights. Shipyards. Cities. Energy arrays. Varric stared at the display. No, the science officer whispered. My gods. Then another structure appeared, and another, and another. Entire networks of colossal installations filled the surrounding systems. Some were larger than planets, others surrounded stars themselves. The fleet wasn't looking at a colony. They were looking at a civilization, a massive one. Before anyone could react, a new transmission arrived. This one included video. A human woman appeared on every screen. Gray uniform, silver insignia, calm eyes. She looked directly into the camera. Exploration fleet of the Galactic Assembly. Her voice carried complete confidence. Welcome to the Horizon Federation. Every bridge across the fleet fell silent. The woman continued. My name is Director Elena Ward. Behind her enormous windows revealed a city unlike anything the galaxy had ever built. Towering structures stretched into the sky. Thousands of ships moved between them. The scale was unimaginable. You have traveled far to find answers. She smiled slightly. And we have waited a very long time for you to arrive. The transmission ended. Nobody spoke. Nobody knew what to say, because one truth had become impossible to deny. Humanity was alive. Humanity was powerful. And humanity had spent 20 years building something extraordinary beyond the edge of the known galaxy. Asterisk Part 1.